What's up, YouTube? This is Jeff Lane. I am here with Vince Russo, and this is a new show. Now, I guess whether this show turns into a series doesn't depend on us. It depends on other people. But we're here to address a certain podcast comments that were made about you, Vince, and something that you went out there and said this is not true. And you've told this story before over the years. Your story has not changed, and we're going to get into that. But then more information came out where the other party involved gave their side of the story. So we're here to address that today, in which may be a one-part series, or this may continue depending on other people.
Bro, but you didn't give the name of the show.
I was leaving that to you. I was going to let you have the thunder.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yes.
The name of this show, guys, is called To Catch a Liar. And it's no different than To Catch a Predator as far as I'm concerned. This show is called To Catch a Liar. Guys, I'm going to tell you, after years and years and years of people just putting blatant lies out there about me, enough. Now you're going to get called out. I'm going to promote this show. I'm going to put it out there for everybody to see, because you know what? I'm doing this for a couple of reasons, Jeff. Number one, I tried the other route. Bro, the old turn the other cheek, bro, I tried the other route. These people did not go away. When you don't say something, all of a sudden you become an easy target, and they keep telling more lies and more lies and more lies. So then, you have people that will say, oh my God, well, if Russo's not defending himself, he must be lying. No, to put it quite frankly, that's Russo trying to take the high road. But that didn't work. I literally tried taking the high road with Jim Cornette. Bro, it had to be 5 years. He never went away. So, all of a sudden, guys like Bruce Pritchard and guys like Eric Bischoff get their own podcast, and they start with the Vince Russo lies. And here's what I don't think they understood. I was going to call them out on their lies. They were not just going to lie randomly and as often as they wanted about whatever they wanted and just get away with it. No, guys, we're not playing that game. If you want to lie about me, I am going to catch a liar. And I am going to embarrass you with facts. This isn't he said, she said. This is embarrassing you with facts. Now, we've already done this to Pritchard. We had a whole situation with Rock where he talked about this conversation that Rock and I had about Rock not wanting to become a heel. And what did I do? I went and found interviews from Rock himself, where Rock told a completely different story. So you would have thought that, okay, Bruce, you got exposed once. Here's the proof with The Rock. Be careful when it comes to Vince, because Vince is going to expose you as a liar and make you look stupid. So this is going to be a second go round with Bruce. But Jeff, it's not only that. It goes further than that, because Jeff, how many people are spreading lies about other people on social media. You know how many people are being bullied, bro? You know how many lives are being ruined and livelihoods are being ruined by literally people just making shit up. And there are a lot of victims out there, and I want to set the example. Guys, don't be a punching bag. Don't be a doormat. Don't let people slander you. Don't let people talk badly about you. If somebody is lying about you, call them out. Jeff, I was under the impression that turn the other cheek meant exactly that. And everybody knows I am a Christian man. Bro, I had to research it, because I was like, God, help me out here. I keep turning the other cheek again and again and again and again, and it doesn't stop. Like you've got to help, you got to help me out here. So, bro, I did some research and I did some study, in the Bible, and I looked at a different scripture and whatnot. And, bro, I found out there were many times when God himself did not turn the other cheek. There were times when God retaliated. And, bro, God even told his disciples at one point, be ready to defend yourself. They're going to come after you because of me. Be prepared to defend yourself. Bro, that's not turning the other cheek. So the more and more I read, I understood what God means by turning the other cheek is don't seek revenge. Don't seek revenge. If you are a Christian and the world is doing you wrong, he will take care of the revenge. That's, Jeff, what I always refer to as karma. That's the karma part of it, guys. So when I really understood what God meant by turn the other cheek, and it wasn't, like I said, to allow yourself to be walked on, lied about, slandered. That's not what it's about. What it's about is you don't seek revenge. You leave that in God's hands, but you sure as hell have the right to defend yourself. And I want this to be an example to everybody out there that has people just spewing lies about them and making stuff up and hurting them and doing damage to their names and their reputations. Don't stand for it. If you know somebody is doing that to you, you have every right to call them out. And that's exactly what I decided to do and why I decided to do it. And Jeff, this instant, let me tell you, I haven't even had this conversation with you, okay? This is why I got so fired up about this incident, okay? Jeff, I have said it on the show. If I could take back anything in the wrestling business, anything I ever did that I was ashamed of, that I was embarrassed of, I got caught in the heat of the moment, which is not an excuse, okay? It would have been the portrayal of JR on WCW, okay? Horrible, bro. I got caught up in the Monday Night War. I really didn't look at it as something that would hurt JR. At the time I thought it was funny. And of course, Jeff, as I move on, I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. I have, apologized to Jim Ross multiple times. Jim has accepted my apology. Jim has since invited me on his show a couple of times. Bro, I was trying desperately to get Jim in at TNA. Bro, I think Jim Ross could have saved TNA if you ask me. So, Jeff, you got to understand, my relationship with Jim Ross is very important to me. I want him to know how sorry I am and just how professional I think he is, how I think he's great at his job. I respect the hell out of him. It's very important to me that he knows that. And Jeff, when I was at the WWE, you guys have heard me say this many times. The success of any company, bro, is when you stay in your own lane. Okay, bro? When you don't cross over into lanes. I was the head writer of WWE. JR was talent relations. Okay? JR, Jeff, never crossed into my lane. Now JR would give suggestions. He would ask me questions about things. Never, bro, tried to stab me in the back. Never crossed in the lane. Jeff, I did the same thing. I never crossed over into the lane of talent relations. Now, Jeff, there would be times where talent that was not with the company would contact me. Okay, bro. I know it happened with the Dudleys. I know it happened with Taz, and I know it happened with Jericho. Okay. I was contacted. When I was contacted by an outside source, I let Vince McMahon know. And the reason, Jeff, why I went to Vince and not JR is because, bro, like tampering. Okay. Tampering, Jeff. Jeff, at the time that war was going on with WCW, Jeff, WCW, WWE were freaking suing each other back and forth. So like when a talent with another company contacted me and there might have been legalities involved, I went to Vince. I said, Vince, I want you to know, Bubba Ray Dudley contacted me, Taz contacted me, Chris Jericho contacted me. How do you want me to handle this? That's how I went about it, Jeff. I didn't want to get Vince or the company in any trouble. Whatever direction Vince gave me, like, whatever questions he asked me, like, I don't know, bro, ask them if they're still on the contract, ask them how long I don't remember specifically what he told me to ask them, but I would go to Vince because like I said, bro, I didn't want any legal problems. So when all of a sudden Bruce Pritchard starts making comments, bro, that I was going behind JR's back and I was negotiating contracts with talent and talking about terms and conditions, that fires me up, bro, because I don't want JR to believe that. My relationship with JR is very important. I would have never, ever, ever disrespected him that way. So I want people to understand that was the part of it that fired me up. Jeff, just 3 weeks ago, AEW debuted. The first thing I did was DM Jim Ross. Jim, congratulations. You still got it. Hell of a job. That was the first thing I did. And bro, Jim Ross wrote back and he said to me, he goes, Vince, I want you to know I appreciate you, which meant the world to me, bro. My relationship with Jim Ross at this point in our lives is very important to me. So when you got a guy saying, oh, bro, he was going behind JR's back, he was negotiating deals, he was doing this, he was doing that, which looks like a total disrespect to JR and his position, bro, that pisses me off because now you're getting yourself involved in my relationship with a guy that I respect very, very much. So now you're pissing me off. Now you're not just saying something about me. You're talking about how I screwed somebody else and had no respect for somebody else. That's why I got so upset over it.
Yeah, well, and you talk about not defending yourself and trying to take the high road and turn the other cheek. The problem is in today's social media age, people read a tweet or people read something online, they instantly believe it. Like they believe everything they read. And it's very odd. Like I don't understand the mentality in that. They read something, they immediately take it as truth. It's from people that they don't know. It's from strangers. Could be a troll account. It doesn't matter. They read something and they think it's true. Okay, so this story that we're going to get into comes out. Guess what happens if you do not respond?
It's true.
It becomes fact.
Right. It's another mark against Vince Russo. Oh my God, Vince used to go behind JR. No wonder JR hates Vince Russo. Exactly, bro. That's what happens. Now, you know what, bro? You get those people, Jeff, that say, "Oh, Vince, you shouldn't care." Why shouldn't I care? That's my name. That's my reputation. Why shouldn't I care? Especially when it comes to, like I said, bro, a guy like JR who I respect the shit out of.
Yeah, and then, someone will come out and put out a lie about you, and that will be okay. That they can do that. But as soon as you respond trying to defend yourself with the facts, oh, calm down, Vince. Oh, you're being crazy, Vince. Oh, you shouldn't be saying this, Vince. let it go, Vince. Why is there a double standard there? Someone's allowed to say something about somebody, but then that person shouldn't respond and defend themselves. I can't stand that double standard. And anybody that's saying that to you, there's like, it's like they want to believe the story that's out there. So let's hush this guy up because this story's better.
You're going to read the exact transcripts. You're going to read the exact transcript of Bruce Pritchard and then Taz's exact trend. We got the exact word for a transcript. But yeah, bro, what you're talking about is, when Taz hit Conrad Thompson with the truth, Conrad Thompson is, right away, Vince McMahon is a crazy man. He has decided to go on this campaign of hatred with Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff. Do you listen to your own show, bro? Conrad, you are sitting there when these guys are burying me week after week after week and blatantly making shit up. And now, Jeff, he's actually going to try to paint the picture like they're the victim. I'm going after them. Jeff, you can account more than anybody else. The only time I discuss either one of those guys is when they make up shit about me and they think they could say whatever they want about me. I'm going to sit here. I'm not going to say anything and people are going to buy it. That is the only time when he says, oh yeah, Vince is a crazy man. He's got this hatred for Bruce Pritchard. Conrad, this would have never been an issue if Bruce didn't lie. Vince Russo would be saying nothing if Bruce did not make this up. So your attempt to think people are stupid and all of a sudden, bro, they're the poor victims. I just got to be honest with you, Conrad. That's pathetic. And people see it as pathetic. And people see the backpedaling when Taz said, matter of factly, sorry, guys, it never happened that way. So, Jeff, start with, Bruce's comments, which got me fired up because it was absolute bullshit.
Yeah, and as we go into this, you'll see, why they're trying to paint you as the crazy person and why people are trying to shut you up. Well, if you're proven that you're telling lies on your podcast, that hurts the credibility of your podcast. That's something we've discussed from day one. That's why when we do castrating the marks, it's always their words. It's not hearsay. It's not somebody said that Wade Keller said this. No, here's Wade Keller saying this. You cannot hurt the credibility of your podcast with your audience by just making shit up. So there's a reputation to protect there. And that's where some of this stuff is coming from.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
But it started with, this was something to wrestle with. This was transcribed by Peter Bahi for us. And, we've heard the clips. These are the transcripts of the exact clips. But Bruce had said, it's a convoluted story and kind of a convoluted deal. Vince Russo had contacted Taz, unbeknownst to Jim Ross and me. And Jim Ross was head of talent relations. Jim was pissed that Russo was contacting talent and agreeing to terms and deals and things that were Jim Ross's job and then informing JR after the fact. Here Jim he has to deal with the contracts and the budgets and managing the department, and this guy is over here making side deals. So that was Taz. That was the side deal, and we were just kind of told to make the deal with Taz.
Wait, hold on. When he says this guy is over here making side deal, I think he's referring to me, Jeff.
Yeah, that's exactly who he's referring to.
Yeah, I'm making side deals with these talent, and JR knows nothing about this.
Right,
exactly.
And that's Taz. That's the story with Taz.
Yes.
Is what he's saying.
Yes.
Right. So he said there was a side deal, and we were just kind of told to make the deal with Taz because it became problematic at times because Russo had no idea what he was doing with contract negotiations. He would just say, yeah, and the guys would take that as a done deal. But it's not a done deal until you get a contract. And Vince McMahon and Jim Ross were deciding at that time who was getting paid what and what the contract terms were. So I also had to deal with Taz's agent and attorney. I've got a relationship with Paul, meaning Paul Heyman. So no one told me that, hey, we're talking to an ECW talent. Taz and Paul they're getting blindsided by this. Paul's calling me thinking, hey, you're talking directly to my talent. I thought we had an agreement. And I said I wasn't talking to anybody directly. And if I was, I would have called you first. So I think the key here is that he said that you were making side deals. You were contacting talent and agreeing to terms and deals and things that were Jim Ross's job, and then informing JR after the fact. And then since you had no idea what you were doing with contract negotiations, you would just say, yeah. And then the guys would take that as a done deal. And Vince McMahon and JR pretty much had to clean up your mess.
Yeah. And again, to reiterate, I didn't contact anybody. I did not contact anybody. Jeff, there was a third party. And again, bro, can you imagine if like I'm making all this up and I'm making up these people and these names? Bro, there was a third party still alive, dear friend of mine back in New York. The guy's name was Blackjack Brown. Okay,
and I think
bro?
that's who Taz was referencing on the show. He didn't name the guy,
Yeah.
but he said a third party, and I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
Blackjack Brown. I got a call from Blackjack Brown, and he said, and bro, here's what Blackjack Brown would say. You know, Vince, so and so. I can't remember the exact, but so and so. Either their contracts up, their contracts coming up. They want to know if there might be any interest with the WWE. Blah 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 blah. Is it they want to call you? Okay. And bro, like I said, my first question would always be is, are they under contract? Because if they are, like, bro, don't get me involved in this. But with both cases with the Dudleys and Taz, bro, I don't think they were under contract anymore. And I think Jericho had a very similar case. Bro, Blackjack wouldn't even tell me like who it was. I didn't know who it was. And then I would get a phone call, like I said, I heard from Bubba. And I heard from Taz. This was the first time they ever introduced themselves to me. And, whatever, again, bro, I cannot remember the conversations. But I remember, as the writer, my job is to tell Vince. Vince is the boss. I don't want to get into any trouble here. Maybe they were saying they weren't under contract and they really were. I was very, very, very careful. And bro, I'll tell you what Vince did on both. I think Vince did this on both accounts. He asked me to set up a meeting. And that's what Taz is talking about. The first time I ever met Taz was when Vince asked me to set up the meeting. And I was there with Vince. It was the same with Bubba and Devon, bro. Never met the guys. Vince told me to set up the meeting. So I was there when they first met for the first time. So, there was no contact on my part. And when I would be contact, I would immediately go to Vince. Vince, so-and-so contacted me. Here's the situation. What do you want me to do?
So I think it's clear there that he's saying that you were trying to negotiate a deal with Taz.
And think about that, bro. Like, what is my point of reference? Bro, I'm a writer. I don't know what people make. I don't know terms of a contract. Do we pay for their rental car, bro? Do they get food money on the road? Bro, that is so out of my wheelhouse. It's absolutely ridiculous, bro. I wouldn't even attempt to get involved in anything like that, bro. I have zero experience whatsoever.
So Taz had Conrad on his show, and Taz asked him about the Vince Russo controversy. And Conrad said, well, there's not a controversy. There's a crazy person out there named Vince Russo that has decided he hates Eric Bischoff and Bruce Pritchard. So anything and everything in the news he can attribute or take credit for or discredit them, he jumps at the chance to do. And that is unfortunate because I like Vince. I have for a long time. We follow each other on Twitter, but
not anymore, Conrad. I unfollowed you today. So please do the same and unfollow me. So that's not true anymore, Jeff. Yet when he made the comment, we were following each other. I am no longer following him because I am a crazy man.
He said, but for whatever reason, it is in his crawl right now. I don't know. What does that mean? It is in his
He might
crawl.
cry when something's stuck in your craw, when something's really eating away you. But bro, listen to what he says. For some reason, like he has no idea why I'm upset. He's got absolute. Bruce Pritchard makes up this cockamamie story, and his co-host has no idea what's stuck in my craw, bro.
Yeah, he said, we are doing our best to navigate it, but yeah, he's taking issue this week with the idea that what Bruce said or didn't say on the show doesn't line up with his story and his line of things. I don't know why that is such a controversial issue. I think we told the story correctly on something to wrestle, and I think it matches your story, meaning Taz's story.
Right, and he's saying this to Taz.
Right.
So
Taz responds, almost. It almost matches, and this is where I have to say, I listened to the podcast, and I want to thank you for what you guys said about me. A lot of very nice things and things like that. But I just want to be clear, though, so there is nobody confused from those who follow what happened years ago. When I was talking to WWF back then, Vince Russo never discussed like contract stuff with me, like money, terms. That never happened. It was creative stuff. The only person that talked money and terms with me was Vince McMahon. Vince Russo was in the room, but Vince Russo didn't say much while Vince McMahon and I talked business. So I don't know if you guys got that point across, or maybe you didn't know that or did know that. Do you remember discussing that part? All right. So do you want to comment on that before we continue on?
Yeah, bro, listen, you got it, bro. First of all, if you listen to Castrating the Marks, I didn't think Taz was going to say anything, bro. That's how wrestlers are. Like, bro, I'm not going to get involved in this. I mean, that's just how wrestlers are. So I didn't expect Taz to say anything, bro. But then, sure enough, I got a DM from Taz yesterday, and he said to me, I straightened out the controversy with BP, and he sent me a link to his show. Bro, this goes back to, and I always talk about this, the bond between New Yorkers and especially Italians. Bro, especially Italians. There is a bond, bro. And a lot of ECW. I mean, bro, Vito Lagrasso, Tommy Dreamer, Bubba, Taz, bro, we were old school Italian guys. Bro, there is an honor and there is a code. And when somebody's spreading bullshit about you or something's not true, bro, we have a tendency to have each other's back. So I did not expect Taz to say anything. I wouldn't have been mad if he didn't, because again, I don't want to involve Taz in this. But the reason Taz got involved was it involved him. So it's like, Taz now went behind JR's back, and like Taz is saying, whoa, you're talking about me now. That's not the way the story went down. So, I praise Taz and I thank Taz because I knew it went down exactly the way Taz described. So I am very, 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 very grateful for him, stating the truth and what actually happened.
So Conrad responded to Taz, and he said, well, here's what I know. I know that we certainly talked about the fact that it went around Jim Ross, and that was the reason why any of this came up, because if you listen to Jim Ross' podcast or read his book over the years, you know that he was head of talent relations and signed the overwhelmingly majority were folks that he negotiated contracts with and put them under contract with. The story we got that Taz was a big acquisition for Vince Russo, that Russo really had a lot of ideas for you and was excited about the idea of working with you. And me believe that this doesn't make sense. Me believe that the two Vinces, Russo and McMahon, got together with you and worked the deal out, and then it was reported back to JR. Oh, by the way, we got Taz, and here are the terms of the deal. And I think that was the reason why the conversation came up. I think Russo is hanging his hat on the word contact, that maybe Russo handled the contact or that Vince McMahon did the contract. but I don't think Pritchard ever said that Russo negotiated financial deals of any contract.
Okay, now, say the
That's
last
backpedaling.
thing.
That's
Wait, hold on.
backpedaling.
Say
Right
what's the last thing? Guys, just look how this works, please. This is the wrestling business. What's the last thing Conrad said?
I don't think Pritchard ever said that Russo negotiated financial deals of any contract.
Okay, what did Bruce say?
Let's bring this back up. Jim was pissed that Russo was contacting talent and agreeing to terms and deals and things that were Jim Ross's job and then informing JR after the fact. This guy's over here making side deals. So that was Taz. That was the side deal. And we were just kind of told to make the deal with Taz because it became problematic at times because Russo had no idea what he was doing with contract negotiations.
Right. Okay. So Conrad just said Bruce didn't say that.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So Taz says, okay, good. I can't speak for what Vince Russo has done for other talents. I'm just saying that it never happened with me. Vince Russo and I never talked money and any of that. I never brought it up. I knew it was either going to be Vince McMahon and I talking about it or Jim Ross and I talking about it. That was what I knew. So it was just creative stuff. So I wanted to be clear on that part. And there's a lot more. If you want to listen to the whole Something to Wrestle and get Bruce's full side and then listen to the whole Taz podcast and get that whole side on there. But Taz talked about other stuff, how he never even met you till he went up to Stanford for a meeting with Vince. And then you were in there with him. So there's a lot of stuff in there. And he was talking about, how he knew that you were the one to try to get a hold of because you were Vince McMahon's right-hand guy at the time. But I think this pretty much spells out the story.
Yeah, and Jeff, it makes all the sense in the world because Blackjack Brown, bro, was close to ECW, and friends with me. I had a relationship with Blackjack Brown to this day calls me Vicious from Vicious Vincent's World of Wrestling. That's what he calls me, Vicious. So, bro, he had a relationship with these ECW guys. And a relationship with me. So, bro, think about it. Okay? Taz is unhappy. For whatever, I'm not even going to get into that. I don't know. Taz wants to test the waters at WWE. And what's Blackjack Brown saying? Well, Vince Russo's my friend. I mean, that's it. It's and Taz, well, you think you can maybe call him, feel him out? I mean, whatever he said, bro, that's it. It's that simple. Okay, bro, if anybody is wrong in this scenario, and again, Bruce will never say this, okay, bro? If anybody, it was Vince for not turning it over to JR and letting JR handle it, not me. I went to my boss. Vince got involved in the meetings with those talent. If anything, Vince should have said, okay, let me talk to JR. Let's see if we could set up a meeting. But you think Bruce could ever say anything negative about the almighty Vince McMahon? Forget about it. But again, my whole point is, guys, this is the wrestling business, guys. This is how it is. I tell you about this all the time, okay? I've had enough of the stories. And I'm going to call you out every time, and I'm going to make you look foolish every time. Not with my word against yours. There's going to be proof, and there's going to be facts. Because, Jeff, think about this for a second. Bro, this is 20 years ago. Why in God's name would I ever lie about this? What?
Especially when Taz can come out and say you're lying.
Exactly, bro. It's the same thing when I say, I had a conversation with Rock about using the third person. Bro, anybody could go to Rock and ask him. Why would I say that? Anybody could go to Rock and ask him. If I'm making that up, then Rock would say, no, Russo's making that up. That never happened. But that's what I'm saying about these guys in the wrestling business. Jeff, a lie is just like regular chatter. It's just like regular conversation. They don't think anything of it. Guys like Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff, bro, if they think it's good for their show, they will say it. They will. I mean, Eric Bischoff tells the story of I made Vince Russo cry in a meeting. Well, let's ask Dixie Carter. Let's ask Dixie Carter if Dixie Carter was in the meeting. Let's ask Dixie Carter if that ever happened. But, again, Jeff, it makes it difficult for me because I don't want to drag guys in the middle. You know what I'm saying, bro? I don't want to drag guys into what these guys are saying about me. But this was a case where Taz, who is a stand-up guy, who I love to death, said, "No, wait a minute, bro. That's not what happened, and that's not what you said on your show." And I'm very, very thankful to Taz. And again, anybody out there, man, if people are doing this to you, guys, don't go into a corner and crumble. Don't go to bed and pull the covers over your head because you're being attacked on social media. Stand up for yourself. And on the other end, on the other side of that coin, you know what, bro? If somebody calls you out on something and you did it, own up to it. Admit it. Say, you know what? Maybe that was a different time in my life. Maybe circumstances were different, but you know what? I did do that. I own the Oklahoma character. I own it, bro. There's no excuses in the world. I would never do it again. I regret it to this day. I have done everything I possibly could to try to make it up to Jim Ross, but I own it. So now the question is Bruce and Conway going to own this, Conrad? Or are they going to own it? From what I understand, they already did a show today. There was a lot of backpedaling. There was no retraction. There was no I was wrong. Nothing, bro. And again, like, guys, keep it up. I will call you out every time. And you guys, man, you want to fight social media, then stand up to these liars. Stand up to these people that blatantly are trying to hurt you and ruin your reputation. Stand up to them.
And also, guys, we all do this. I've done this. Vince, you've done this. Just because you read something online, don't instantly believe it. I mean, somebody says something. All right, fine. Where's the proof of this? We got to stop as a society just believing everything we hear and read. I don't know when this became like the norm. Facts are never important. Somebody says something, that's now the truth. Wait for the facts. Do your own research. Look these things up. But I think we just got to stop believing every single thing we read
Jeff,
or hear.
I had this guy write this long article about me yesterday, right? Some things were dead on. Some things were 100% off. Okay, Jeff, this guy in his article kept referring me to as a fame monster. Okay, bro. I wanted to be just like Vince McMahon. I loved being on television. I was a fame monster. I was an egomaniac. I was
a guy you've never met or talked to, by the way.
Never met or talked to. So now wait a minute, bro. I've told this story several times. When I started at WCW, first of all, bro, I was never on the air at WWE until Vince McMahon put Vic Venom on the air. Okay, that's when Vince McMahon said to me, "You think you could do better?" And I had to do the old hum the. Yeah, I think I could do better, right? So, bro, think about this for the first 3 months. We did the Seinfeld gimmick, okay? The Steinbrenner gimmick, okay?
And whose idea was that?
That was Kevin Sullivan's idea. Because that was going on at the time, and that was Kevin Sullivan. So, like, I knew, okay, I'm never going to be on camera. I knew. Bro, then all that shit goes down with me. They put me together with Eric, and we got to do this big angle coming out of the shoot, okay? Now, Jeff, I don't remember how that went down. I don't know if Eric suggested you be a character on TV, or I don't know if I suggested it. I don't know. Guys, do you see how I'm telling the truth there? Because I very easily could say Eric suggested it. Bro, it was all Eric's idea. Bro, I don't remember how it came about, but I do remember this, Jeff. This was my mindset. They were pressuring me so much with ratings that I said, you know what, bro? You guys aren't listening to me. Ratings take time. They're not going to happen overnight. You know what, bro? I will go out there and do it myself. Okay, that was my attitude. I'll go. You want ratings? I'll go freaking do it myself. That was my attitude. Jeff, when I was on WCW, Jeff, every time I went out with my family in Atlanta, I got recognized. I hated it. I freaking hated it, Jeff. I could not go out anywhere in Atlanta with my family. I hated it. While I was on air and a writer, I hated it, bro. I hated it. I did not enjoy it. I hated it. If you guys recall, there was an actual scene at the end where I gave Mike Sanders the keys. Okay, but I gave him the keys. That was me saying I am never going back on television again. That's me. I wrote that, bro. So again, the fame monster. The fame monster is making the decision to take himself off TV. So, Jeff, then we started TNA. Bro, we had such a young roster that Jeff was like, bro, you got to be an on-air personality. Plus, Jeff, you had the New York, Nashville thing. Like, forget about it. And it was Jeff's idea for me to manage AJ Styles. Okay, so yes, bro, when we were in that little asylum, the talent was so young, the Sonny Siakis, the AJ Styles, Elix Skipper, all those guys, bro, that my job was to try to get these guys over, help get these guys over. No problem, bro. That makes all the sense in the world. So I did that for a while, bro. Then I leave TNA. Okay, bro, that's when I became a Christian and I left. Okay, so let's get back to the fame monster thing, bro. I wanted to be Vince McMahon. You know, Eric Bischoff saying, oh, Russo loved being on television. Jeff, I come back in 2006. I worked there till 2012. I am writing the show for 6 straight years. Did I ever appear on TNA television?
Not after the Dusty thing, right? That was the last thing.
That was when I left. That was when I left. When I came back, Jeff, for 6 years. Jeff, meanwhile, they're on Spike TV. I could get notoriety, whatever. 6 years, bro. I could have written myself on television I didn't want to. I didn't enjoy it. I wanted to write the show. So now this guy, oh yeah, he was a fame monster and, you know, he lost it, blah, 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 blah. So what do, bro? I contact the guy and I say, you know what, bro? You were right about a lot of things, but wrong about a lot of things too. I'd like to do an exclusive interview with you so we can discuss what you wrote. Guess what the guy writes me back, Jeff?
Yeah, I saw it. Well, I got to make sure it benefits me and my site or something.
Well, the first thing he said was, I'll think about it. Wait a minute. Whoa. Think about what, bro? You just spent all this time writing this article about me. I want to address it with you, and you have to think about what? You see what I mean, bro? This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen, bro? People are going to read this oh my God, Russo was a fame monster. Holy shit. Russo caused his own demise because he wanted to be a TV star.
Meanwhile, coming on the show with you instantly does something for this guy. I've never heard of this guy before. Okay. A lot of people don't know who this guy is. So he'd be on the show with you. People are going to know who he is. Stand by your work. You want to say these things about somebody. The person in question is saying this is not true. Let's discuss it. And you won't go on the show. That's a really wussy response. You know, that should tell you what the article, maybe I don't know. It's just very wussy response. You said you would be respectful to the guy.
Yep.
You know, I don't know.
I mean, you know, bro, again, it's the same with Eric. Bro, if I loved being on TV, I would say I loved being on TV. Jeff, again, you got to understand what else came into play here. Bro, all the concussions I got. You think I loved that? Bro, like no. Like I don't want to do this. I don't. But again, fame monster, egomaniac, loved being on TV. That's what I mean. And again, I think it's an important point to people listening to this. Guys, if you don't defend yourself, it becomes truth and it becomes the narrative because you are not defending yourself. And guys, like I said, man, the turn the other cheek business, guys, you could do your own research. If you really want to see what that means, then you can really, really, really do the research just like I did, and it will make you feel a lot better about it. But yeah, Jeff, I mean, and I'll do this over and over again. I don't care. Guys, you want to keep talking? You want to keep saying stuff that you know at your core is not true? We're going to come right back here again on To Catch a Liar. We're going to go through this all over again. And guys, it will never be my word against yours. It will never be that. I will always have the proof that what you said is 100% untrue.